What is going on, everybody? So I'm back today because I saw on TikTok and on YouTube a bunch of people talking about this film. And so I saw this being talked about on those platforms, and I'm immediately interested because the first thing that's being said about this movie is that it's the scariest film of all time. And I feel like over the years, that's a statement that has been used multiple times when it comes to talking about a multitude of different films, is that it's the scariest film of all time. And I always want to check these types of movies out. And this is a movie that is going to be really interesting when it hits major streaming services to see what kind of reaction it gets from audience members. And I'm looking forward to talking about it today. And the film I'm going to be discussing is Skinamarink. Skinamarink is directed by Kyle Edward Ball. Two children wake up in the middle of the night to find their father is missing and all the windows and doors in their home have vanished. I want to start by saying that I have a feeling that this is a film that general audience members will hate. It is not a traditional narrative. It is not a straightforward story. It's very surreal and abstract and very analog in a way that I feel like I have not seen a film try to accomplish this aesthetic possibly ever. It is one of the most unique feelings I've ever seen conveyed in a film, and a lot of it has to do with the cinematography and the way that the film is shot. So we're really not introduced to these characters. The intro scene to the film is one of the kids waking up in the middle of the night and the dad running into the room, but the way it's shot, the camera is essentially always pointing near the ceiling or towards the floor or in a really weird area that makes it feel almost like you're a child in your head filling in the blanks as to like the spaces in your household or from things in your memory. And it's really unique the way it's shot. And so you see the dad leave at the beginning of the film and they come back to the house with the kid, and it's like the kid fell down the stairs or something happened because they were sleepwalking. And you're implied that through the dialogue. And the dialogue in this is very scarce. There's not a whole lot of it. And so they end up going back to sleep. Well, in the middle of the night, there's a brother and sister, and the brother wakes up, and so does the sister, and they start moving around the house, and they notice that all of the windows and the doors of the house are gone. So the two of them sort of shack up in the living room together, and weird things start to happen to them in the house as the night progresses. As I said at the beginning of this, I never know what to think when someone comes out and says, oh, this is the scariest film of all time, oh, this movie made me uncomfortable or scared me more than anything. And I can safely say that this movie unsettled me more than anything I've watched in several years. It's not going to be for everyone. This isn't a jump scare filled, big budget blockbuster horror movie. This is like horror at its deepest root. I'm someone in my life who have experienced night terrors and horrible waking nightmares in my life, and that is what this movie feels like. It's the equivalent of having a night terror or experiencing that realm of fear that exists in reality, not some overblown Hollywood thing. This is like very visceral. This feels like the director's lived experience applied to a film, and that's what really took me by surprise. It has this feeling, I was discussing it with some other people, this feels like a blend of comfort and anxiety. It's hard to explain without watching it, but the way that the audio is conveyed to you as an audience member, it's very quiet and ambient way that like you feel like you're at your house, where it's like there's this strange sense of comfort amidst these sequences of really anxiety-inducing tension. And it's a feeling that not a lot of films have been able to convey in me, to where there were several sequences in this film that my heart felt like they were going to jump out of my chest. There's so many sequences of staring into a blank hallway where you don't know if something's going to come out at you or not. And the filmmakers really take advantage of that into when they put something in your line of vision or when something is in the shadows staring back at you. And I think that that's just a really incredible testament to the filmmakers. I saw a lot of people saying this is like a modern day horror film if David Lynch made it, and I could see some similarities in that, but I think that it definitely has its own uniqueness that will take a lot of people by surprise, and it really is unsettling. It looks like it's shot on really really grainy film, and I'm not sure if they used an effect or if it really was shot on film, but it also has that grainy crackling noise in the background almost the entire film, which, like I said, gives that sort of like comforting aesthetic amidst the really horrifying images that you see on screen. And one of the things that I think makes this film so powerful is that it's all shot through the lens of these very two young children. And so even as like adults, I know as an adult myself, I've experienced like these night terrors or waking nightmares, and seeing it through the lens of a child who is so confused as to like the doors and windows of their house have disappeared. They try to go check on their parents. They can't find them. The lights in the house start randomly going out. Like all of these things that as a child, like as an adult, you wake up and you can try to rationalize it in your head so that you can go back to sleep and things are normal. But these kids, they're children. They don't know how to piece these things together in their head. They're just trying to understand why their lived reality is becoming this really scary place that they can't understand why these things are occurring. And that made it even more difficult to watch, is to know these two kids were going through this experience. And I think that if you go into this film with an open mind, even if you don't love it, I feel like you're going to take something away from it. And it was one of the most unique viewing experiences I've had the entire year. So have you seen Skinamarink? Did you love it? Did you hate it? Leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you thought. I thought this movie was insanely scary. It really unsettled me, and it was one of my favorite things I've watched this year. As always, if you can like the video and subscribe to the channel, it helps me out a lot and lets me know the type of content you're looking for. I'm always putting out new material and look forward to getting more out for you in the near future. And as always, everyone, thank you so much for watching, and have a great rest of your day.